unique story about my Tourette's. You
want to see my kill my bunny?
I
can shoot it.
I don't have a bunny, so don't be scared. Now, I do have a quite unique story about my Tourette's. Because I got diagnosed in adulthood, which is kind of unusual. Tourette's is something you're born with. It's in your genes, and it's in 50% inheritance from your parents. And you usually get symptoms in late childhood, early teenage years, which I did, but it was quite a small, and I tried to hide it a lot, so people didn't really know. And approximately a year ago, they had been a little bit worse for some time, but I think it's May, June 19. They started getting a lot worse. So I got pretty violent tics, like throwing my body forward. And then I started making more noises and sounds and vocal tics, making words, saying sentences. At first I thought it was just a neurological reaction to long time stress for a long time. But eventually they figured out that it was Tourette's. The way to do that is that you have to go to a neurologist, check your brain, see if there's nothing wrong with you, that kind of way, and then you go to a psychologist. Psychologist? Yeah. Then they have to go through a lot of questions all through your childhood, and if you had tics when you were a kid, and especially since I'm an adult, it's a long time ago, but they had to talk to my mom to see if there was any signs of tics or neurological symptoms when I was younger. And they also ask a lot about the usual diagnosis that comes with Tourette's, like because a lot of people have ADHD. I'm gonna focus my camera a little bit. There you go. ADHD, OCD, depression, anxiety, learning difficulties. A lot of these things comes with Tourette's. And a lot of people are also very sensitive in other ways, in the skin, and a lot like senses like hearing, vision, sense of smell, sense of taste, and stuff like that. They're very kinesthetic senses. A lot of people have that too. So I have to go through all this. I do not have ADHD in any way. I do have some reading difficulties, which I figured out pretty late that too, because I did read a lot, so I taught myself to read in the same way I taught myself English when I was 16, because my teacher couldn't figure out how to do it, because they told me I was awful. So that's that. And Tourette's is a diagnosis, it's a condition, and it varies a lot. Some days they're almost not visible at all for other people. I do feel some tics, but a lot of my tics are not visible to others, but I can feel. I use my throat a lot, and I use my toes. And I have a lot of breathing tics, and of course they're also in your head.
This is in your head. You can suck it.
But getting getting Tourette's worsen in your adulthood can be a little bit difficult too. Of course, when you're a teenager, it's hard in school. Getting it in adulthood, the other things that can be difficult is you have to change a lot of things. I couldn't do my work anymore because they couldn't have people swearing to other people with mental health issues. And I also told her like, I don't like you and I'm lying. Ooh, which is not building a very good trust between other people. I also have to stop driving a car. I do have a license for driving, but I choose myself because I close my eyes and I throw my body forwards when I'm driving. I haven't driven since I started throwing my body forward. But I don't want to do it because I also close my eyes, and that is not very good when you're driving a car.
Oh, it's fun.
It's not fun. But some days I can almost have no tics and I feel like I should be able to drive at that point, but I haven't wanted to do it yet. But some days they are a lot worse. So my whole day can get ruined. It's a lot of noises, a lot of challenging for my body and my joints. And I also have to do things differently when I am at the mall or going anywhere. And I also have to tell a lot of people getting it in adulthood. A lot of people know me from not having much tics and they haven't really been visible to them, so they didn't really know about them. So it's one thing to meet new people, because then I can say I have Tourette's and they're like, oh, okay, did you have from childhood? I was like, yeah, you are born with Tourette's. But mine got a lot worse in adulthood. People I know or I know but haven't seen in a while, I have to explain the whole thing through what happened and why and what they think, why it's like that, and it is probably stress, both physically and in my life, that made it so much worse. That's what you saw. It's a stress-triggered condition. So when I'm stressed, it usually get worse. Or when I'm afraid of doing something, I usually do it. But people sometimes see that when I don't have many tics, they're like, oh, you're super well now, you do feel so good. And that's usually when my body hurts a lot and I'm feeling kind of depressed, or I'm feeling very down, because then my tics go down too. So they base it on the things they can't see. And the ironic part was that I had to diagnose this. I didn't have them before, but the symptoms was what you call invisible illness. So people couldn't really see that I was ill, because both Ehlers-Danlos and lupus is not very visible to others. Not in my way, anyway. And I was thinking, oh, if people can only see it because you're young and you're well and you're everything, you should be good, you should be fine, you should do this. And I had to explain to them that my body couldn't. And they're like, why, you're so young? And then I thought, oh, if people could only see it. But I was thinking, like, if you have a cast on your arm or you have a wheelchair or something like that, then people can see that there's something wrong with you and they can take actions through that.
There's naked man there.
Okay, it's just a person in the window. It's totally fine. And now it's very visible. Everyone can see something. And I'm too visible now. So I have to do things differently, just regularly. When I had to take my blood samples yesterday. I had to focus so much not to take in my arm so they can actually have my blood taken. And I have had my blood taken so many times up through the years. And it's very good acoustic in the hospitals that we got, the new hospital. And I have to test that out. And I'm not very used to, I don't like people watching me when I'm walking. And they do that now. So that's kind of unusual for me. But we're handling it. Most people is totally fine with it here in my town. If you say you have Tourette's, people pretty much know what it is, I think. But they ask a lot of questions if I'm open about it, and that's I think that's so great that people can ask questions and not just assume something. because someone assumed that this is what I actually mean or this is what I want to do, which it's not. Sometimes I just react to what's happening here, and sometimes my brain figures out weird shit it wants to do or say that doesn't make any sense. And it can make my body kind of tired, and when you're tired you do more. But most people and my friends and my boyfriend and my family, they're very accepting, and a lot of times they just laugh about it. They think it's funny, and it's easier for me when people laugh about it, because then it doesn't make it that serious. Or so I do feel I offend people a lot of the times. But when they laugh, I feel like, okay, they're fine about it, and I can relax. I don't have to think about being worried about ticking or something, or saying something inappropriate. So most of the time it's actually fine. I haven't run into any troubles with it at all. So that's my story. It's possible to get it in adulthood, but you usually have to have had any signs of it before you were 18. If you don't, you just get diagnosed as a tick disorder. Which they at first thought it was going to be my diagnosis, but since they figured out I probably had it since I was, I think it was about 6, they started thinking something was weird. And then I had so many other things that it wasn't really, they thought it was just about the other kind of stress factors. That was since my body started getting sick around 14, and they thought it was just part of that, but it's not. You can get kind of tick-like movements from lupus if you have it in your nervous system or in your brain. I've heard. I do not. So I just have. So that's that. I hope it was informative and that you have a great day. And bye.